Well, hello there, people. This up here, is Kubuntu. I just themed it a little bit, messed around a little bit with it. And I've been using it for a month. And I will say, I think this is actually the best Ubuntu out there, like out of Ubuntu, Subuntu, Lubuntu, and all of those distributions. So why is this idiot saying that? Well, first of all, look at it. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. Again, beauty is an opinion. You may not find it beautiful, or I find it beautiful, okay? I like it. It's sexy. I want to cuddle it. I want to marry it. That's just me. It's familiar. You know, it has a lot of the same paradigms as we have been using since 1995, okay? Like, this is what the world is. That's why you look at Mac OS, you look at Windows, they use the term consistency. That's why if you look at XFCE today is almost identical to XFCE in the late 90s. Consistency. That matters to a lot of people. Yes, it's more of the Windows nature and then the Mac nature of the layouts and the way it functions and what have you not. But hey, it's whatever floats your boat. The thing is, Windows is the most used operating system, so by catering a little bit more to that paradigm, you are opening yourself up for a broader audience. It's just like making videos in Danish. You're only speaking to the Danish crowd. If I make videos in English, I'm speaking to basically the whole world. You get the idea here. Another thing I really like about the system, about KDE or Kubuntu, is that they give you really easy access to their back repository. So if you really want the latest and greatest KDE versions, you basically just add the backports, and they have a really neat site or instruction on how to do that. So if we go, can we go direct to the, I think it's news here. So this says down here, Plasma 5.24 available on Kubuntu. So they give you instructions here. Hey, if you want to test it out, it's not production ready, but if you want to test it out, we will let you do that. Again, I don't see this in any other of the Ubuntu so far. Maybe the XFCE version, but again, they are really in tune with their audience or their customers or their users, or however you will say it. And just like their site is more, again, it's one of the better sites that I have seen with any of the Ubuntus. It's less nerdy and less corporate and more, hey, we are a desktop operating system. You know, we are meant for the desktop. Check us out. And they are doing a lot of great things with the community and whatnot. So yeah, it's really neat. Like I said, you can get the latest and greatest KDE really easy. Really convenient. Why would you do that over, let's say, KDE Neon? Well, you get the latest base, 21.10. You don't have to wait for the HVWE kernel to catch up and stuff like that. So you get a little bit, newer software in a lot of instances. And this also works, this guide here that they had, let's see if I can go back here. This would also work on the LTS version of their release. It's not you don't need the latest version of Ubuntu. You can also do that on the LTS release. Kubuntu has been one of the most stable systems that I have run, KDE systems. Arch, OpenSUSE, and Kubuntu are like my three favorite distributions to run KDE on. Just seems to work sleek as a fucking, brand new Lamborghini or something like that, or Mercedes or whatever car you're into. It oozes quality from those distributions. If I use any other distributions, they tend to be a little bit iffy with crashes and stuff like that, and it tends to basically blow up in your face once in a while. Again, with OpenSUSE, Kubuntu, and Arch, it's just fucking working. Debian, of course, Debian is a tank. You can pee into your computer and it will still fucking be running. Debian will still be running up, running and doing what it's supposed to be doing. You are running a really outdated version of KDE though, and you have to go and use backports, and it's really complicated compared to doing it this way. And I really don't like to recommend Debian for people that want a modern desktop. It's for people that want stability über alles, okay? You want stability and you don't care about anything else. But out of all of the Ubuntus that I've been running them all, like all of them, and Ubuntu-driven distributions. Even KDE derivative distributions I have run. And I always come back to plain old Kubuntu because there's not been any third party or nerd or geek or come after you, whatever you want to name them, fiddling around in the back end. It's Ubuntu with KDE on it, and that's it. Almost no fiddling around done with it. You don't even get the good old snap package by default. I have, however, tainted it a little bit because I really, really like Code, Virtual Studio Code. And I really, really prefer the snap version. Yet. And this is how I customize. There's a lot of people who say, well, this is really complicated. And I always say this to people. If you find the system settings on the KDE complicated, you should find Linux complicated. You should find Windows complicated. It's really not complicated. There are some things that's hidden behind a couple more clicks that I would like. So let's say you want to theme GTK applications. It's not really that intuitive and well noticeable. So just hovering over here, we really don't see GTK theming. So you have to click Appearances. You have to click Application Style. And then there's this fairly large button down here, but people don't really look at this. I have plenty of people to this day not being able to find this. That says configure GNOME and GTK applications. I preferred that when we go back to Appearances here, it will have its own fucking entry here. Give us an entry in here. That's the only thing, and this is not Kubuntu specific, but it's like the most, I would say it's the only thing that I find could be irritating, and I find irritating with KDE. Everything else, it's not that complicated. And you can even, if you really, really want to, you can get a layout like this that's a little bit more cinnamon, a little bit more Windows-esque-like. And again, if you go into Appearance, it will just give us back this icon menu down here. KDE is not complicated. I should make a dedicated video talking about how non-complicated KDE is. It just have a shit ton of options. And as you guys saw, now I have messed around with it, so it is taking up a little bit of resource. Oh, I already have it open up here. It's really not that resource hungry either. It's actually really, really optimized, especially for battery and stuff like that. And it's because of Qt. Qt is one of the most efficient libraries out there for UI displacement and resource management, because it's basically was originally built for handheld devices, mobile phones. So Qt was built from the ground up with the focus of battery life, efficiency. GTK kind of was like, oh, we kind of want that also. Now they're trying to shoehorn it in there. And let me be honest here, GTK is falling flat on his fucking ass and slamming the face into a wall. GTK is not optimized, it's not really well documented, it's actually, in my opinion, it's a shitty fucking library system, okay? It's really fucking bad. Qt, there's some licensing worries because it's made by a proprietary company that have a proprietary version and open source version. So a little people are a little bit apprehensive, I think the word is, for using Qt applications or libraries, and I totally get that. But it is the most efficient library for UI displaying things in Linux that we have. Again, this being Ubuntu. With the backend, they're doing a lot of services to make, auto-detect a lot of hardware. It's running hardware detections and stuff, services in the backend that most users will use. But if you're one of those really, really slimline users that don't need all of that shit, and it's why you're running Arch, you will have a really, really low footprint. Like, let's see what's happening if I'm just closing Chrome here. We're now at 1.2 gigabytes. Had this been GNOME or any GTK-based system, we would be close to 2 gigabytes and up. Anyway, I've been all over the place, and some of it has been Kubuntu specific, some of it has been KDE specific. If you think KDE here is too complicated. Stick with it for a month, okay? Watch some videos about how to do stuff. If you want help with KDE, type what your problems with KDE is down below. And I will probably make a video or guide you to a place where you can figure it out if it's a question that's been answered many, many times. Maybe I should make a KDE series, I don't know. And if you want a really, really solid, stable, great KDE experience with a really, really stable base, Ubuntu. If you want the rolling releases, Arch and Tumbleweed. OpenSUSE Tumbleweed. But for most people, I would just stick with Kubuntu. And I think most people in the world wanted to try out Linux should actually try out Kubuntu. Because of the paradigms, it's more familiar, you know. It's a Windows-like paradigm. It's not mimicking Windows, but it's Windows-like. You know, when it starts up, it's actually the panel is down here. So this is how it starts out, and this is really Windows-esque like. I just like to put it up in the top here, so that's how I like it. So it follows a lot of the traditional paradigms that most users that use a computer are used to. That's not bad, because it makes them feel comfortable. So anyway, what are your thoughts about Kubuntu/KDE? Is this the best version of Ubuntu? See you all later. Bye bye.